Sweet. Okay, we have officially started. Everybody is here. I forgot to give you a meeting agenda. Did you guys all get copies of the agenda in that very last email I sent probably 10, 15 minutes ago?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. So you should all have everything.
You have the agenda. That's not the agenda.
It looks like this. And if you don't have it, that's okay, because we'll go through it. We're going to do a screen share in just a minute, and we'll kind of go through a PowerPoint.
Go to your email.
We are recording, so those of you who are watching the recorded video, obviously none of us here today, but for the ones that are watching the recorded, there will be another document that I'll send you that you can put all of your recorded information on. So welcome. Welcome to our Centering on Centers early childhood follow-up. Yay. There are two other people with me here today, and we're just going to go around the table and do the little introduction. So I'll go ahead and start. Obviously, I'm Brenda Jenkins, and I am your host today. I work with Northwest AEA, and I am an early childhood consultant. This is my year with Northwest AEA. Prior to that, I was an early childhood preschool special education teacher. I've also taught kindergarten, did home daycare, was a paraprofessional for a while. My husband likes to call me during meetings, apparently. Anyway, so childhood memory. One of my childhood memories, with all the snow, it kind of brings back snow memories for me. And one of my favorite memories was, I think it was like 1978-ish or something like that. We had a huge amounts of snow. Hold on. Hey, Scott, I'm in a meeting right now. Yep. Bye. Just checking to see if I made it to Sioux City.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is recorded in history now. Anyway, one of my favorite things to do was we had this big snowstorm, and I got to, my dad, we lived on a farm, and my dad got a tractor, and he piled up the snow into big piles, cleared out our road so we could go up to the neighbor's house, and then he pulled us up there behind the snowmobile, and we had like a sled and a saucer and a saucer. So the person that was in the very last saucer, I mean, we would swing from ditch to ditch, and it was just so much fun. So that's my childhood memory. I'm going to head it on over, Diane.
That would be fun.
Oh
my gosh, good thing that you didn't get hurt.
We didn't worry about getting hurt back in those days.
No, but that you're okay in your hand. You'll be calling your apple tree. And I have quite a varied background of life bents, but I've probably done early childhood 11 to 12 years in the years that I've worked. I've done a lot of fun things. I work at, like I said, North Side Apple Tree has the preschool initiative teacher. I've been there 7 years, and I've learned a lot. So it's great. I really enjoyed the Centering Centers, as I always do, and helping kids be resilient. So it's great because we all have to be resilient. Mm-hmm. A favorite childhood memory. Well, I thought of Fox and Hound. I just thought of the name of this game that we played probably in when I was 10 years old. And Fox and the Hound. Anybody play Fox and the Hound? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh! You have this big circle, and the fox is in the middle, and then he tries to catch you, and it's like a spider web. Anyway, it was just a lot of fun. And then, of course, playing school with my siblings, and who was the teacher? Usually me.
Thank you, Diane.
Hi.
All right.
I'm Megan Jacobson. I work at Sergeant Bluff. I'm here for 5 years now. Before that, I was building blocks. Worked there for 7 years. I started off in the 3-year-old room and moved up to the 4s and then to the preschool, and that's what I really enjoyed. And a memory, well, I used to play teacher a lot too, and I was the teacher.
Thanks, guys. Now we're going to go to our Zooming friends. Meg, you're first up on my left, so we're going to go to Meg.
Hey, I'm Meg Otto, and I work for Northwest AEA, and I am a birth to 3 teacher. And this is my 33rd year, and I love it. Love, meeting new families, and yeah, it's a wonderful job. So one of my highlights was when my birthday's in February, and on our house, we have this family room. We called it the porch. I got a bike for my birthday, and since I couldn't go outside to ride it, they took all the furniture out of that porch, and I just rode around in circles. And that was, when you said a memory, that's what came to my mind. So
Awesome. Thank you, Meg. Betty, you're next. Betty Steenbach.
Good morning. I've been a preschool teacher in Orange City, Iowa for 23 or 24 years. And it's funny you talked about snow. So then it got me thinking of snow memories also. And of course, the blizzard was at 75. And it was just on, just saw some other pictures of past classmates telling their children, now that was a snow day. Because you couldn't get out of your house because the drifts were covering your doors. But we also did toboggan rides, the horse pulling the toboggan all over the farm. And I'm the middle of 11 siblings, and we were always outside doing something.
Outside was the best, wasn't it? Especially living on a farm.
Yes.
Thank you, Betty. All right, Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Heisterkamp. This is my 8th year working as a paraprofessional at West Monona. We work in preschool and with special ed. My childhood memory, you guys talking about your toboggans and snow. I grew up in San Diego. So we lived by these hills and mountains, and we would go climb all the big granite boulders, and we would take cardboard boxes and we would slide down the hill on cardboard boxes instead of snow and toboggan. So that's what we used to do when we were kids.
Wow, that would be fun.
It was.
And it's fun how kids just improvise, right? We just have fun.
Yep.
And with you is Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
Your turn.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm Peggy Lange. Hi. And I work at West Monona as well. And I'm a para for preschool. And this is my 2nd year. I guess my childhood memory, I'm one of 13 children. So really didn't get very much when we were kids. But what I remember is when I was 9 years old, I have a brother a year ahead of me and a brother a year behind me. And Santa had brought us in television too. And we got to play Pong. That was the best. You know what Pong is? It's kind of like a little tennis. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we went tobogganing too, but I really like that Pong game. But
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Denise.
I work at OABCIG. I'm a para. I've been in the school system for 26 years, but not always a para. Actually, I started by cleaning the school and then got promoted, I guess. And I love kids. I was raised on a farm, and so farm life was actually fun. There were so many things to do, but the best memory, I would think, 2 of them I really remember, is that when there was no corn in the corn crib, my sister and I turned it into our little home. And so we'd play house in that thing forever, all summer long. And then another thing was that my mom and dad would have our friends over, and we would have horse rides. And so all the horses would show up and with our horses, and we'd go on like a trail ride with our horses. So actually fun life on that farm.
Oh, yeah. I noticed everybody, or well, not everybody, but so many of us had outdoor experiences. And if it wasn't outdoor, it was an imaginative experience. And I hope if you guys have kids that, you know, we give our kids time to have those imaginative experiences, kick them outside, you know, turn the electronics off, because the more I learn about play and creativity and too much structure, it put a lot of pressure on our kids, and we just need to let them play. I am going to start sharing my screen, and I think, let me check here. Yeah, okay. Actually, I'm not going to share my screen because you guys all have the agenda. So on the PowerPoint, slide 3, if you got that, right now we're just going to do what I'm calling a memory jog. And we're just going to kind of go around. So pull out your information from your Centering on Centers. And I want to spend about the next hour, we're going to talk and we're going to review, because what I find out with myself is that we get a lot of information, and unless we really talk, and unless we write it down and take notes and discuss, it just kind of stays superficial, and we're not really digging in and doing it. So let's start, and I'm just going to go in order of on the agenda, and it's just is left to right. So let's start with Flip It. So if you guys have your Flip It notes, and I did send you a handout on the Flip It, and I'll give you guys one too. I looked on the Devereaux website, and on the Devereaux website, they have the plethora of information, and they had these icons, and I thought, and then they described them. So I made this little Flip It chart, and I thought this would be something you could hang up in your classrooms just as reminders to yourself. This is the Flip It strategy. This is what the F is for, the L, the I, the P, and helping you help children using this graph. And I did give them credit for it, so I don't think it's a copyright issue. So if you guys have your Flip It stuff, let's just go around and share some of the information that we discussed, that you learned, or that you just want to remember.
I did not go to the Flip It presentation.
Okay.
But I am familiar with Devereaux. We used to do the DECA, and then replaced it with Ages and Stages. So I didn't go because I was afraid that it was that it would be another tool that I don't have time to do. Mm-hmm. And but I did hear good things about the presentation.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's interesting that I hear you just say that you didn't think it would be a tool that you could use. Oh my gosh. I think implementing the strategy of Flip It is a pretty phenomenal thing. So I had this Flip It, I don't know, like evaluation thing, but then nobody really wanted it. So, but I wrote the Flip It is the most relevant, useful part of the training was all of it. Holding children accountable. So that's one thing I really picked up is like we have to hold children accountable for their behaviors, and what's behind them. We have to get to the root of it, and it does build relationship. That we have to hang in there with it. We have to be patient because all these components, you know, addressing feelings and you have to have limits. And yeah, the whole process, I was quite enthralled with. And I wrote, we have to do these paper, right? So Flip It is a best practice strategy when it comes to supporting children's needs and growing their social and emotional development. Practice its components. They bring results conducive to everyone's success. So, I mean, we have kids in our classroom that, I mean, it's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And this little tool right here to look at to remind us, because we're human and we want to jump to. I got on a little girl yesterday and she wasn't doing what she was supposed to do, and then immediately I felt bad because I wasn't addressing her feelings.
And that's a good point. And it's nice to have. Of course, it says my internet connection's unstable. Sweet, but it's nice to have those tools. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna mess up every now and then because we're human.
Yeah.
But what I really I love. I always like keeping the handouts and going over them. But on the handouts, it shows kind of like the pyramid model. And again, we start with relationships. Everything is built on relationships. And I've heard that theme throughout the whole centering on centers. Relationships are so important. What I liked on the bottom of their Flip It overview, if you guys did get the handout, it says prerequisites for Flip It include relationships. They're the foundation. Every strategy is only as good as the relationship it's built on.
Right.
When you think about that, absolutely right. Do our children want to listen to us if we haven't built that relationship yet?
No.
No, they're not going to. The next part, it says empathy. Empathy is the ability to see and feel from another person's point of view. So we need to have a relationship built, and we need to be empathetic. We need to try to see the child from the child's point of view. We also need, where it says number 3, we need to understand ick. And it says children are challenging when they're weighted down by something called ick. Ick refers to the negativity or risk factors in an individual's life. When times are full of ick, we have a choice to stay calm and flip it rather than flip out or flip in. So our job is to teach children how to be calm. What's some of your other thoughts about the Flip It?
Kind of along with that too, I wrote that she had said if we address the behavior without addressing the ick feeling, it'll keep growing and the negative behavior will keep continuing. And yeah, how easy is it for us just to tell them to quit behaving like that, but we don't get to the root of it.
Mm-hmm. And one of my behavior management strategies for a long time was ignoring, my number one behavior management strategy. But then I've come a long ways. You cannot ignore what you see going on. Mm-hmm. You have to address it. And I guess there's sometimes maybe ignoring might work okay. In most situations, it doesn't. And holding kids accountable. I mean, our staff in our room, we forget to follow through with them. I mean, you can say 1, 2, 3. Or you can do the 1, 2, 3. What's that 1, 2, 3 thing? And if you don't make a decision, I'll make it for you. Mm-hmm. I mean, you say that, and then nothing happens. The kid doesn't respond, and you just, why say it if you're not going to follow through?
Right.
Holding them accountable is a big thing.
Accountable.
Yeah.
And when we hold them accountable, I mean, let's just go through the Flip It for those of you who didn't attend. The F is for feelings. So we definitely want to address their feelings. And this is something I learned in another training too, and I think they said it here at Flip It too. Rather than saying you are mad, we need to say, oh, you must feel mad. Because if you're an English weirdo major, like I like to do English stuff, I don't know if you guys did diagrams and all that, but you are mad equals mad are you. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like an equal thing. But if you say you must be feeling mad, then it's just an attribute that comes and goes. So when we talk about their feelings, rather than saying, why didn't you do this? Or why did you do that? We say, oh, wow, you must be feeling frustrated. I see that you hit your friend. We don't want to put them in defense mode. We want to acknowledge their feelings. That's the first step. And when I looked at my other notes, it said it's best if it's done in the sequence quickly within 1 to 10 minutes. So we go through the whole flip it sequence within 1 to 10 minutes. So, oh, you must be feeling sad. So that's the first step. The L, who remembers what the L stands for?
The limits, the parameters, the be safe. Yeah.
Right. It's you then refer to, if somebody hit, it's like, oh, I see you must be feeling frustrated or angry. I noticed that in our classroom, we need to keep each other safe, and hitting, that's not a safe thing to do. So we've already talked about the limits. Then you go immediately to the I, the inquiry part. And that's where we want them to start helping problem solving themselves, do some of their own problem solving. So it says, encourage children to think about solutions to their challenges. What are some other things you could do, excuse me, when you're feeling so frustrated? What are some other things you could do instead of hitting? How are some ways that you could show that you're frustrated, or where could you go? What are some things you could do? So we do those inquiries. It says we're supposed to ask open-ended questions, such as, how can you ask in a friendly way? Where can you roll the car? How can we make this fun? How can we fix this? What ideas do you have? Because in the end, don't we want our children to be able to solve problems? And don't we want them to be able to handle their own conflicts? Step 4 is the P. Do you remember what the P is for?
Prompts.
Prompt. Yeah, thank you. If they're having difficulty problem solving when you get to that inquiry part, then we're supposed to prompt them. The things say, provide creative cues or clues and suggestions. Enthusiastic, bright ideas can lead a better way for problem solving. So we're supposed to be the salesman at that part. So that's when we get excited. It's like, what are some, you've gone through the I. What are some things that you could think of that, where else are you supposed to roll the car? The child can't come up anything. I wonder if, think outside the box, I wonder if you could roll it under the table. You get excited, you get animated. Supposed to focus on their strengths. Oh, you're so good at, I don't know, whatever you can think of. You're so good at light touches when you're coloring. I wonder if you could do a light, gentle touch to your friend when you tap on your shoulder. So you see through the whole thing, the whole flip it, feelings, inquiries, nope, I did it wrong. Feelings, limits, inquiries, and prompts. We got to get that in my head. What else did you guys have down on your notes?
One of the things I had was focus on their strengths.
Mm-hmm. Focus on their strengths. So, and I would think that even during the inquiry and the prompting part would be a good time to focus on their strengths. And just like with any tool, practice, practice, practice. I think we might have one more person here. Hold on just a second. Sorry about
Give me your damn legs.
Oh my goodness.
that.
Oh, why I'm always crazy hearing all my kids in the back.
Who's doing that?
Oh, I
Yeah,
totally get
late
that.
start.
You knew we were gonna get up.
One of the things I have, I wrote down, and I think this is pretty, I don't know, not necessarily profound, but something for us to really think about. You know, we all talked about our childhood memories. One of my things I starred, the presenter said, children have not changed. Childhood has changed. And that is so true. It's changed a lot. And, you know, we talk about the ick. Kids have a lot of ick. They come to us with a lot of ick. And we need to really change how we think rather than what is wrong with you, rather what has happened to you. You know, it changed. When we change our thinking, we change how we relate to the children. And again, we're supposed to ask the strategies that we use now, more of my note. A lot of times we use timeout, ignoring, redirecting, giving choices, do-overs, bribing, relaxation techniques. Some of those are okay. Some of them are better than others. But we're supposed to ask ourselves, with every strategy that we use, did this strategy help strengthen a relationship with a child? If it didn't help strengthen the relationship, then maybe we need to change our strategies. Did the strategy address the root cause behind the behavior? Because if we didn't address the cause, chances are the behavior is going to happen again. Did we help the child learn how to handle emotions? Did we help the child learn how to become a problem solver? And have we helped the child make long-term changes in their behavior? So how could you show, if you're taking this information from Flip It, and I know one of the things people had concerns about on the homework, how can I show this? What's a picture that would show me using Flip It? What would be some evidence to show that you're using Flip It strategies or techniques within your program or your classroom or your home?
Just taking video. Just have somebody video. I mean, I have another adult in the room, so you know. It's like,
Okay.
that would be very interesting to see how I interact with some of these kids, and then send it to you. So then we like, if we did it like on our smartphones, then we can just send that to that video.
Yeah, you could just send it to me that way.
Right.
So,
I could.
yeah.
Other ways, what are other ways we could send you? I suppose, anyway,
Yeah.
lots of ways as well.
However you want to do it. I just, what my whole purpose for the homework is just to get you guys thinking a little bit more about the strategies, a little bit more about using some of the practices. And then the evidence is just kind of like, oh yeah, I do that. What could be other evidence of using Flip It?
Well, I think for me in the home, you know, when I go to homes, I want to bring some of this information, you know, to the parent. Just that one comment that I said about addressing.
Karen Harrison, I'm going to start in the front door. Can you possibly grab a shovel and start some of the other doorways, some of the sidewalks? Doorways, especially where teachers come in, if you could help scoop those areas.
Sorry.
I'm going to start in the front. Thanks.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I just want to bring to my families, you know, if we don't talk about addressing the kiddos' behavior in the home that their parents or moms are so frustrated with, you know, if they just keep disciplining them, it's not going to change. So I want to just talk more with my families about, you know, kids' feelings and what they might be feeling when they're acting out.
Mm-hmm. So do you think an evidence would just be a conversation? If you just had a conversation with a parent or a child and you just kind of scripted it out, kind of like an anecdotal note, I'd be okay with that too. because this one's kind of hard to, it's like, oh, how do I take a picture of that? How do I show a video of that?
Yeah.
But that would be fine. Just
Okay.
what I'm more concerned of, not concerned, but what I really want you guys to get out of it is just to use it. If we don't use our tools and are forced to use our tools, then we don't use our tools.
Yep.
Right.
Anything else you guys can think of that would be maybe some evidence for Flip It?
I sent you pictures of our classroom doing some breathing exercises, breathing, raising their hands like a rainbow and then bringing them down like a rainbow.
Great idea. Getting them to that calm, recognizing that they're getting a little bit anxious and just going down to that calm so they can think. Good idea, Denise. Or I'm sorry, Lisa.
That's all right.
All right. Let's move on to anybody else, first of all, yes, before we move on. No? All right, let's move on to the early years, the practical science. And she didn't give us a lot of information that day. So I asked her for her PowerPoint, and I did send that to you guys. And then
You need to open.
it's that.
Yeah.
Well, I emailed you for it, but I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, she was, Karen Williams, I thought was amazing. I really liked what she had to say. I took a whole bunch of little notes on my little notepad there. So who wants to start us out with the practical science stuff? What kind of stuck out? Who all went to that one, first of all?
I went.
You went to that one?
I think we did.
I did not.
You did not?
Well, it was interesting to me how she started her presentation with such negativity about how United States children develop 9 to 18 months later than children in underdeveloped nations.
Yeah.
So it's like that got my attention, and then she went on from there. And she talked about how the parenting in the United States is inconsistent and it has lack of basic social skills, emotional and behavior skills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she said, she talked about that inconsistent nurturing.
Mm-hmm. And then after I left there and we were out doing a little shopping, I wanted to stop everybody that was carrying their baby in their child seat and said, you're not working on their core. You're not working on their core.
Mm-hmm.
But I controlled myself and only did it to one family.
But it does, it's not that we're being rude. We just want to help kids and help kids to develop. But yeah,
yeah, and I think why is that? Why, as such a great nation, are our children developing later? And then I just think of my favorite Maya Angelou quote of, when you know more, you do more, or it's something like that. So is it the lack of parental knowledge, or is it that we're so busy and technical? It's kind of like the Flip It, where you have to figure out where this behavior is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So then go from, and then go from there. I mean, when she first started, she said a lot of scary things. And then, of course, went on to why this stresses the kids out, or distress, she called it. And how behavior is the symptom of what's going on inside us. It was very interesting. I loved how every presentation I went to connected and strengthened what the last presentation said. I really appreciated that.
I noticed that too. It seemed like there was just constant themes throughout the whole conference, and it truly wasn't planned that way.
Really?
Well, I mean, we wanted a central theme on social emotional, but even how two of the presenters presented the same little short video, and two of the presenters talked about that that 4 square breathing and just that consistency throughout, which was amazing.
Yeah, it was very powerful.
Megan, what stands out to you? I'm gonna around so people can see you too. Whoops. Let me get that back on here. Okay.
Well, during all the presentations, I kept thinking about children that I've been in contact with throughout the years I've been in teaching, and like what I could have done better for them, or like I have a child now that has a lot of personal problems, and she's got a lot going on for her short 5 years in life. And one of the things that Karen said was children who have not learned will use whatever they can to find whatever they can do to temporarily displace the uncomfortable feelings. And it totally made me think of this child, because she's not been taught any sort of soothing ways. And then we have to focus on student wellness first, and then the learning will come in half the time. Because when she's in a good mood, she's ready to go. But when she gets in one of her bad moods, there's no learning at all. Oh, and then she was talking about the different kinds of stress and stuff, she said, and then she got to the toxic stress and the trauma, that we need to learn as people and teach the children how to cope with that to make it better for next generations.
Yeah, she had so much good information. Because I'm kind of a science geek, I loved all the sciencey stuff, not that I remember all of that, but, when she talked about our different, the different brain chemicals, and our own endorphins and our own THC, and, we don't need to smoke pot because we make it ourselves, the THC. Just like, when we can get to calm, that's when we can learn. And I thought, loved it. Who else had other stuff? Who else went to hers? Denise, did you go to?
No, I didn't go to that.
Okay, how about Lisa or Peggy?
Yep, we did.
Yeah.
What stuck out for you guys?
I liked learning from this one and the other ones about how the chemicals do affect the way you cope and your ability to learn, not only for school, but for my own kids and my own life. So I kind of like that it went across that whole spectrum. Some of the things I thought were interesting, like coping and stress management needs to be a habit. And self-regulation is a learned calmness. Those are things that stuck out in my head. And how do we teach that to our little kiddos?
she talking about the calmness part, she did talk about calm down by blowing out finger candles.
Yeah.
So having 5 candles. Have any of you guys ever used those before?
Not before, no.
Have you?
Since I've learned of it with that girl I was talking about, and it doesn't always work. Heard it calling times. And I'm like, yay.
Yeah. I know, it's so nice. In her handout, and I again, I had to go over that again just to remind myself. But she said something like, and I don't have one right in front of me, but thanks. Yeah. She said something like, telling youth to be calm does not teach them how to do it. So when you say just calm down, it doesn't help, does it?
No.
So we need to teach them, and teaching them calm is those relaxation, the blowing, the yoga, the brain breaks, giving them a chance to move, and then that 4 square breathing.
Can you say that phrase again? Telling youth what you just read on that little sheet.
It says the bottom line: telling youth to be calm. I suppose it's backwards when I'm showing you, isn't it?
No, it's fine.
Telling youth to be calm does not teach them how to do it. And then the other one, and it's on page 2 of her handouts. And never in the history of calming down has anyone ever calmed down by being told to calm down. And I just sent this to a principal was asking me for some suggestions on some behavior stuff. And so I did share teaching youth what not to do does not teach them what to do. Not never equals what. So when we're telling children what we want from them, we need to tell them what we want. Oh, I need you to walk to the door, not stop running. But if you want it, teach it. But yeah, she had that inconsistent nurturing. One of the things, you had talked about children developing 9 to 18 months later. And then she said, we need to talk to our children. Our kids are abandoned. And then, she was talking about the containers and stuff too, not developing their cores. Our terrible twos have now turned into, terrible twos used to be 18 months to 2.5 years. Well, now our terrible twos, because our kids are so delayed, are coming out at ages 3 and 4, and that's when you guys see them in your preschools. So I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah.
And then she said something like, and I don't see it right now, but one of the presenters was talking about conversation. And didn't I hear that like a typical home only converses with their children, parents only converse like 15 minutes a week?
Oh my.
The rest of it is get up, get dressed, go here, go there, do this, do that, but it's not a conversation.
Right.
So when we talk about the importance of developing relationships, if we were just to talk to each other that way, would we be developing relationships? No. So if you're a child and nobody's listening to you or talking to you, and they stick you with this device, makes me feel sad for childhood.
And it is so true when I'm going into homes. These kiddos at a year, they're knowing how to work their parents' phones and find their videos. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the parents are so proud, aren't they?
Are so proud. Yes, they are.
Because they think their children are smart. Because for us, we didn't grow up with those things in our hands. So for us, it's not natural.
Yeah.
But for most children, that's
life now.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it was her. It talked about the 15 minutes a week is conversation.
I loved how she changed her voice for I'll never forget what those brain chemicals do now, because she Sarah Onan, and then Amy G. Dalla, because I can never remember that word, amygdala. So yeah, I just thought that's gonna stick with me forever now, that the children need some serotonin. It was hilarious.
Good.
She was good, yeah.
That and her little chant that she did. That I've done that at home with my little 2-year-old.
What was it? What was the chant?
She was going or something like that, and my own boy, he's 2 and he's in those terrible twos, and I just started doing that to him. He stopped and he looked up at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" But then he thought it was fun. He was doing that too, so it calmed the situation down.
And sometimes that's all you got to do is throw some humor in it, and yeah, it's fun. Kids are fun. I love it. Anything else? I mean, she had so much.
It did.
Tell me about that flipping of the hand. Why were they doing the flipping of the hand? Was that calming them down?
She was talking about a girl and on an airplane. Was that? And she.
Oh yeah.
And the girl was.
I'm done.
But the presenter was saying it, and she was very animated anyways. So I don't know. That stuck with me. I'm not for sure. I don't know if that was just
I think it was how one little girl.
Yeah.
Because she was on an airplane, and the presenter said like she was right behind her or something, and her mom had told her to be calm or something like that, and the little girl started doing that.
Yeah.
Everybody gotta be calm. And pretty soon the whole airplane was doing
that's what it was.
So it just became fun, and yeah.
I got it.
She had mentioned, Karen Williams had mentioned another acronym, CIA. She said, first of all, we need for them to calm themselves, identify their sensations and feelings, and ask. So it's calm, identify, and ask. When it to the ask part, know who, when, and how to ask for help. Does that kind of tie into Flip It too?
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. I mean, the identify, I guess, is the F part of Flip It. And maybe eventually I think we want to get them to calm. So CIA, it might not necessarily be in that order, because I think eventually that's what we want, is we want kids to get to calm. And her whole focus was how to get people to calm. And that's our number one job as adults, is to teach children how to self-regulate, self-soothe, and get to calm.
She said that, along with that, it is a parent's job, but the children are always watching us. So if we're not calm, they're not going to be calm.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be a good model. And she said to change a positive behavior to a negative one, it only takes one interaction. But to change a negative to a positive requires repeated frequently 40 to 100 times constantly the same way until they can be trusted.
Mm-hmm. And she had mentioned like that positive to negative, like sexual abuse. It only takes one time, and then it changes us. But in order to change a negative into a positive, that repeated 40 to 100 times in the same way, practicing that calm, practicing teaching children expectations, what to do, and 40 to 100 times. So when you have taught children 1 or 2 or 3 times and say, I've already told you, you still have at least 30 to go, 37 more times to teach.
40 to 100.
Anything else on this one? Alrighty. Let's go to ACEs. Who all went to the ACEs presentation?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Who said that?
Denise.
Denise? Okay. Denise, let's let you start with ACEs.
Let me get my stuff out there. I didn't bring my notes.
That's okay. Do you remember what it stands for?
Let me get my stuff, what I do have here. Just give me a minute. Gosh, I wish I had my notes.
Grandma, will you tell Papa that he gets here?
That's okay, Denise. While you're getting your stuff together, I'm going to let Diane and Megan start us out. Both
Well,
of those
adverse
did.
childhood experiences. It was certainly an eye opener. I really enjoyed this session too.
Yeah, I know. I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was depressing.
It's so true.
Oh yeah, but overall, I thought it was depressing and like making you do your own ACE score. I had a childhood, I had a high school, and like that whole rest of the evening, that I don't know, ruined
It
it
got
more.
ya.
Yeah, it
Did you
did.
feel in a way validated, like you aren't the only one?
Yeah.
That, I mean, everyone has, it seems like, really, honestly, adverse childhood experiences. And I'm starting to write my little right here, and the presenter conveyed that a fight or flight response is always present in a child. So that was kind of interesting to me, that toxic stress occurs 20 minutes after shock of an incident that is experienced. That when a child's brain conception and biology collide with social expectation, there's going to be trouble. Children have no defenses, no built-in coping skills. And then we just said earlier, saying to a child, you should just, whatever, just doesn't cut it. And then this science, that website from the Iowa State University Extension and Outreach, the science of parenting, like this dear lady that's the 0 to 3 person. Oh my gosh. It's like,
that Lori or no?
Meg, is that Meg? The 0 to 3?
Yep.
AEA.
Oh, this one right here.
Yes. Oh
Where
my
is she?
gosh. And you going into these homes and giving them this, I mean, honestly, I mean, I have parents, and then we just talked about this little script. So if I talk to a dad and said, you know, you're just sending your child to her room with a tablet is not solving any problems. And then here's the science of parenting. You know, it's like parenting is stressful. And I, as an early childhood teacher, want you to know better. Like, just like you said, know better, do better. And we are doing our kids, parents are just doing their kids such a disservice. And then when talking to these parents, it's like trying to get them on the right track. It's very challenging.
Right.
I'm just kind of blown away by all of this and seeing these kids and how they're acting.
Right.
And
it just,
and,
it
yeah,
makes you
it's
understand.
shocking.
Yeah. It gives you a totally different perspective when you watch that video, the resiliency movie.
Oh,
Tell me more about what you.
Well, the health outcomes, like how you have 4 or more, you're more prone to having like heart disease and I don't remember all the different
Oh.
things there was.
You're more apt to have many sexual partners, to do
Yeah, I mean, just
to use
that, and
drugs
it's not.
and heart, lung cancer.
And then the lady was saying that it's not. Well, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I can't remember how she worded it. The doctor in the movie.
Oh,
She said, "Well, that's not."
It's not what's wrong with you. It's what happened to you. Maybe?
Yeah, or something. Yeah,
Something like that.
yeah,
Mhm.
and well, I'll remember it later.
That's okay.
Like tonight.
Can I say something?
All of our adverse childhood experiences, then we as professionals, we want to help stop the cycle.
Yeah.
Because it just
Right.
goes from generation to generation because nobody learns to do better.
and that's so true.
Yeah.
One of the things, I guess, a positive part of that whole depressing ACEs, there's one thing that can change that trajectory. You know, if you have 4 or more ACEs, and that's what part of that ACE study did, and the Devereaux Foundation, who does the Flip It, they noticed that some people, despite however many ACEs they have, are still able to bounce back. And so they were trying to look at what is it about those people that are able to bounce back. And so that's how we got the protective factors with Devereaux Foundation. You know, you use the DECA, Denise did. But they talked about resiliency. And the one thing that they found is if you have, and she talked about it in her ACEs presentation too, one person is all it takes. That one person you can go to, that relationship, it could be your grandma, your mom, your best friend's mom, just that one person, your teacher, your 3rd grade teacher, someone you can talk to and connect with that will always be there for you. And if you don't have that, then yeah, your ACEs are going to be unaddressed, and you will have for sure all those, high probability of having those issues. And I can't remember the number. If you go to Iowa ACEs 360, I believe, they have our whole state of Iowa, and the high numbers. Okay, so they have 4 or more ACEs, and Woodbury County is, I think, the 3rd largest in our state with the percentage of 4 or more ACEs. So think about what we see in Woodbury County, the children we see in Woodbury County. We know they're coming to us with a lot of this toxic stress. So what do we have to do? Yeah, love them, build relationships with these kids, and teach them self-regulation. Teach them how to initiate and experience the fun things in life. But most of all, teach them, I just want to say love them. Build a relationship. Talk to them. Have that conversation, that ongoing back and forth conversation with them. Denise, did you find what you were wanting to share with us?
I was so astonished about that pie chart when she showed us on that screen. It was so, I don't know, emotionally shocking to me how many people had issues in their life as children. When they did that study with the average people.
Excuse me? Is Mrs. Daly here?
No, she's not here today.
Can I get a granola bar, please, for a student?
Yes, come on up. Anyway, when they did that study of those normal children, those people, average people, and when they went out into the world and went out and had college degrees, and then they didn't succeed in those, and then had gotten average jobs, I was so surprised. You know, that's what really got me. It stuck with me so much. That's what I remember the most about that. And then when you did the survey on that, you know, I fell into some of those categories.
Just a reminder, we will finish with Iowa assessments on Monday.
And how did you feel when you found out you fell into some of those categories?
Hurt.
We were, when I was trained in the resiliency training, I guess, we were cautioned about when you give out the ACEs, when you check your own ACEs score, because sometimes it does make you feel, it's like, what's wrong with me? Now I've got this to look forward to. So part of what I want to do today is just help you guys understand that there's hope and you can change the trajectory. I mean, all these things don't have to happen. We can change. That's why we're doing this with children. You know, we want to get to our children early, but it's not too late for us either. There's hope for us, and we can build a better future for our children and for ourselves. We know it now, so now we know, I'm going to build myself up. I'm going to do some things that, you know, I'm going to connect more with my friends. I'm going to have some stress relieving strategies for myself. Just, we'll get there.
And I know that's why I am where I am in the level I am, because I see these children who come in and I see, and I know I can make a difference.
Mm-hmm. And you can, you all can. We are, I don't know, we're world changers. I love early childhood. I think it's an amazing career to be in because we affect so many children, and I think we change the world. Anything else anybody wants to share on the ACEs presentation?
I'd like to say something. I go in the homes and
Sorry, I accidentally muted you, Meg. I was trying to show your picture up big.
Oh, that's fine. You know, the information was discouraging, but yet my first comment that I wrote on my paper, and I underlined it, is at birth we all get those neurons, and it's our job to connect those neurons. And, you know, I just tell parents, you know, just rub your babies, just stimulate them. And, you know, just the power parents have in the positivity of helping their children grow. And yeah, you just have to try to keep it very positive, I think, because it can be very discouraging, but
yeah,
we have a lot of power. So,
mm-hmm.
And the other comment that I underlined was, when kids are struggling, many times it's not a kid's problem, but it's a kid with a parent problem because of the difficulties that they've had. And I thought, you know, that is so true. I see that in some of my families too, that, yeah, they're discouraged, and so they kind of run a discouraged house. And, you know, that just creates another little kiddo that's kind of a discouraged, sad person. So you gotta.
Mm-hmm. And then Meg, what do? You know, when the parent, it's not just the kid; it's the kid with the parent problem. So how do you help support the parent? Like address? I mean, you just make a suggestion.
Oh, but you know, I don't know. I like to help them see the good, positive things that they have going on in their life. You know, yeah, maybe they don't have the money that they really need, but maybe we can find a resource to help them get something that they need, and then to be thankful for that resource. Or I don't know. I had a mom that she had a tough life, and I found a mentor for her, and she comes once a week, and you know, it's just something that she needed to help uplift her spirits and help her continually find the good that she has in her family. And I don't know, you just got to be creative, I guess. But
I mean, that's good. Yeah, I hear you. Yep. Thanks.
So the main overall message for ACEs, what would you say if you were to say that there was a main message? What would that be?
that we can build resiliency.
We can build it, right? And how do we build resiliency?
Relationship.
Developing relationships, absolutely. That is the number one thing. Develop relationships, carry on those connections and those conversations with children. So if you were going to show evidence that you were using ACEs in your classroom, what would that evidence look like?
That's a tough one.
If we're building resiliency, building relationships, would it help if you knew something about your children?
Yes.
So you would know what to talk about with them. You know what their interests are, know what they like, what they don't like.
We have in our preschool initiative rooms, all of the teachers were supposed to do it Take 5. And so, you have a spiral notebook, and then in this notebook, you have every child's name. And then there's all these, like what's your mom and dad's name, and do you have siblings, and do you have pets, and what's your favorite food, and your favorite color. And so I often refer to that Take 5 spiral notebook to remind myself of a certain child, and then I can go over and start a conversation. So Take 5 with them. We're supposed to try to spend 5 minutes at least every day with every child.
That's wonderful. So that would be an evidence,
right? Oh, yeah.
That you're, that you're just doing that,
right? Okay.
That you're developing those relationships. Maybe just having something on the wall with all of the children in their classroom, so their pictures or their families or something that they wanted to make and hang up, just so they feel, this is my classroom. This is my classroom family. I am wanted here. They appreciate me. Just something like that. Kids, they need to know that you love them and you want them to be there. And I forgot to do that with the early years practical science. What would be some evidence that you're using those strategies in your classrooms?
I'm kind of struggling with these picture things because I don't feel like I have permission to put my children in the pictures. So one of the pictures is that growing shape thing for a breathing exercise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we've added that to our morning meeting, and so we're doing that. And one day I didn't do it, and they're like, "Aren't we going to practice our breathing?" And so, yeah, I feel that just that addition, and they love doing. They didn't talk about it in the science when they talked about it in the yoga one. Changing the breathing. Of course, they love the dinosaur exhale. And they've even come up with some of their own. So it's I feel like that's an effort towards teaching resilience, which I never really thought about, that I can teach resilience. I just thought, why are some kids born with it, and why are some not? So that was a big aha moment from this Centering on Centers conference.
Good.
If anybody watched 2020 last Friday night, the girl that was stabbed by her friends, that Slender Man story, anybody know about that? Well, and so then I looked at this little girl, and she's 16 now, because I think this happened 4 or 5 years ago. But it shows her being what seems to be a happy, normal 16-year-old. But after being stabbed 19 times and left for dead, and by a miracle being found, I mean, boy. And that David Pelser, you just read about people that they go through incredible things, come out, supposedly being able to live a life that's relatively good, Yay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It makes me think about those kids that were found in
Oh, in
California.
California.
Oh,
like, how are they going to be when, I mean,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
getting their basic needs met right now that they didn't have.
Right.
So, I mean, how is that going to affect them in the future? All the stuff that they had to deal with.
No
and-
kidding.
Right.
And that's some definite trauma.
Or even
Right.
that he had those 3 girls locked in his house, and the girl got out, and
Oh,
Yeah.
and
Unbelievable.
and you hear stories like that, and you're like, that's gonna scar you for life.
mhm.
And here I have a note. Repression tends to be the most common form of coping for adverse childhood experiences. So you think of all those kids in that house and just repress. Just think how much work you, Brenda, will have to work with
Mhm.
that one of those people.
Mhm.
You know, to get them to even communicate their feelings.
It's
Oh my
tough.
goodness.
And I think about the foster kids we work with, and the importance of building relationships. And if they go from preschool to preschool to preschool because they're in foster home, because they're kicked out because of their behaviors, it's just tough. It's tough.
It's hard to be a kid these days.
So hard to be a kid, Meg.
Yeah.
I want kids to be able to be in a meeting like we're at, and to think about their childhoods and to have something good to remember, and you just don't know.
Mhm. We say that it's hard to be a child these days, and I agree because of all that stuff. But yet, looking at our ACE scores shows that it was hard to be a child when we were a child also.
True.
So some of the same trauma is still around, but yet we've escalated it, and yeah, so it's always hard to be a child without the relationships and the supportive adult.
Good point. Thank you.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, let's move on to play. Let's lift this up a little bit. Why did you like that the most, Megan?
Well, I enjoyed sitting there playing with. I had that long rope thing when we first had to play by ourselves, and I could sit there I had no problem sitting there. I first made finger crocheting, and I was making designs, alphabet, right? And I had a fun time, and it was relaxing.
It was very relaxing.
And, it was something that you do with your hands, and do this all the time.
Right. And you were able to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of stress relief that comes in creativity too, being able to create something. How'd you like using the open-ended materials?
I
I wanted to take them all home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were
That was fun.
I was playing with the partner. We were trying to make these sticks stay on these things and all line up like a big tower, and we couldn't quite get it, but we just kept trying, and the time went by really fast because it was fun.
Right.
Right.
So you were learning to be competent. You were persisting, some of those things that are necessary for children to have, that confidence, persistence.
Yeah. You want to hear all my attributes that I wrote?
Sure.
Because my mind, I'm busy and I don't sit very often. I really don't, except when I have to do schoolwork or whatever. But, and so for me to sit for that 20 plus minutes, was it 20 minutes?
By yourself?
By myself. And then play. that was another like revelation. It's like, have I ever sat for 20 minutes and just played? And so it was like, oh my gosh, we need to let our kids play. So I wrote, being immersed, being able to focus, concentrate, a time to reflect. It was peaceful and calming. I had opportunity to think, opportunity to change my mind, persistence, and dealing with failure, ordering, classifying, patterning. I did that. Imaginative play, opportunity for creativity, pure joy, continue play, reflection time on own terms. I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was
so much.
Totally blown away.
So much in 20 minutes.
In 20 minutes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Who else had something that they wanted to share about the play experience? Did you like it?
I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I really liked the music. But yet, sometimes I feel when I play music like that in the classroom during work time, that it's just another level of noise. So I might experiment with that, but I really loved the music.
I liked the music the first time with the solo play. I did not like it when we had the cooperative play, but then I drowned it out and I didn't notice it. But at first, it was bothering me because I think it was the type of music.
Right. It was more.
Yeah.
And I didn't even hear it the second time until the monkey started to squeal. Then
I did not like that at all.
That's very true, and I feel that you just explained what I described when it was singular play and they had nice soothing music. I enjoyed it, but when we were supposed to be talking and problem solving, and then I didn't like that second music either.
Lisa and Peggy, what are your thoughts?
I like the first music as well. I did not like the second music because I felt like I was from the zoo. I didn't want to feel like I was in the zoo when I was trying to concentrate and put things together. And I used those plastic red Solo cups. They were all different colors, and I built it all the way up to a pyramid. And then I was just trying to tweak them a little bit because I had extra time, and then they all fell down. So I had to start over. But it was so fun. I loved it.
Good. Yeah. Did you guys go ahead, Lisa.
I just felt like it'd been a long time since you don't really take time for yourself as an adult to do that. And the kids are, a lot of times they're so structured, they have to be somewhere and go somewhere to practice and here and there. And so just, really to just, like everyone said, just to sit down and have that time was just kind of a nice time to decompress from everything.
Did you guys get any new ideas for your classrooms or for the children the centers that you work in?
I liked the soft music for like that individual time. I've been trying to think of how we could possibly implement that, because that can be a soother for some kids, but we also have some kids that don't like our dance time and our music time. They don't like to go to music class and they don't like dance time. So just trying to figure out how we could make that work for both types of kids. That's what I've been working on.
Okay.
We play music at our rest time, which most people do, I think.
Right. And it's soothing.
Right.
And they enjoy that.
How about your thoughts about, because one of the things that the play experience wanted us to, I guess one of their objectives was to help us get a better understanding on how we can be more conservation type people. Let's reuse some of this stuff that we would typically throw away. How can we bring it into our classrooms and use it as toys? If we don't have a lot of money for stuff, how can we use these kinds of things as toys? When I did home intervention, I like to collect, we drink a lot of coffee and I like a lot of creamer. So we would collect those like brand, but they're the perfect, when you take off the label, they're perfect bowling pins.
Sure.
Yeah. So I could collect those and give them out as bowling pin options. Of course, people don't really bowl anymore, but it's fun. You can find something to do with it. Containers, the kids like to put things in, dump it out. But
I thought of my room was pretty small, and maybe make the north end where you stand and you're active, and the south end, you know, tables and chairs, and put the music on that end. I don't know. Another gal mentioned the noise level, and yeah, it's just, I went into a room to visit one time and I was shocked at how all the kids, she must have bribed him or something. I don't know what she did, but all the kids were sitting just engaged in their work at their center table, and the music was in the background and you could actually hear it.
wow.
And it was like, it was a wow. And I thought, if I could aspire to that, but I just don't, I think it's a happy medium. So here I am, north, south. I haven't tried it yet. But I'm picturing, I wonder if, maybe there might be a 60-40, 60 moving and 40 sitting. You know, so it'd be interesting to see if I gave him the parameters, you know, for a choice time one day.
Right. I liked being able to play by myself. I don't because I didn't have to listen to anybody else's ideas. I just got to build what I wanted to build, and I thought that was really great. And then when I went into the cooperative part, that was even better. So I mean, both experiences were good for me. How do you think that would work for the children that you work with? Do they have time where they can just do what they want to do without having other people, without having to share? And is that okay? What are your thoughts?
I have a little boy with that he has 2 siblings, and then the girlfriend moved in with her 2 siblings, and I feel he always has to share at home and be a part of the group. And so it's kind of his norm when he's in the classroom that he doesn't want to share. He doesn't want anybody to join his block play, or he doesn't want anybody to even help him pick up. So I think that's just what he needs. So when a child does want to join in his play, we problem solve it through, and we say it's okay. He can say no. So, but some days it's a struggle for him.
I think it's neat, Betty, how you allow him that option, because you're seeing his need, but you're also giving him the opportunities to stretch beyond that.
Right.
And giving the other kids strategies too.
Yeah. But they're always shocked when he says, no, you can't play with me.
So how could we show evidence that for that part of the homework? How could you show me evidence that you're using information you gathered from the play experience?
How about I send a picture of my loose parts?
Yeah.
In the kitchen. From the Centering on Centers from last year, the loose parts ladies challenged us to get rid of all of our plastic food in the kitchen and just add loose parts. And I have done that, and I just love it. I just love it.
What do you mean by that? I'm not sure what you mean by the loose parts.
So I have a basket of, they're not necklaces because it's actually tree decoration, Christmas tree decoration, the beads. And I have a basket of beads that are cut into different lengths. I have marker caps in another basket. I have tree limbs that I've cut up into 1 and 2 inch lengths, and that's in another basket. Poker chips of different colors, and old-fashioned clothespins. And those are my loose parts that become coffee, spaghetti,
oh, cool,
muffins.
children, they're able to use their imaginations, and those loose parts can be whatever, really recycled materials, or things that we could recycle. I've seen pine cones, just all kinds of different things. Yeah, so that would be a type of evidence. A lesson plan that just shows that you really stick a big part of your day is play.
Work time.
Just let them work or play. Yeah, that would be sufficient evidence. Again, I just want you guys to use the tools, really think, and we say so many times, be intentional, but really think about letting children play. Just that open-ended, unstructured play. Any other comments on the play part? Denise, did you have anything?
No, I liked it. I liked the solo play, and I liked even the cooperative play. Enjoyed it a lot.
It was.
You know, when you talked about the music, I must have been zoned out. I heard it at the beginning, but then after I got involved with my lids, I had the lids, I zoned that out. I didn't hear it. It was gone. I was just in my own world.
So think about that, I guess, and that was one of the comments that was made in my session that I attended. When we say, okay, it's time to clean up.
I didn't even hear that.
I didn't hear it the first time either. Because I too was so engaged with what I was doing. So the kids we work with, sometimes they get so engaged. That's where those 5-point timers, those warnings are a great idea. So they know to keep watching and listening.
Well, and I wanted to say that handout, I did the front and back. Oh gosh, that readiness one, how play promote school readiness. I did. I copied the front and back, and then the thing is I don't follow through. Hey, you know.
Yeah, they gave us a lot of information to read, and if
so
you get
good.
a chance, take time to read that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to mindfulness yoga. Who wants to?
That was my favorite.
That was your favorite? Why was it your favorite, Betty?
Just how they connected everything that we do, from the building resilience to brain development, and they made it fun and appropriate for early childhood education.
This is an easy one to show, right? Show evidence for. Just doing yoga in your classroom, yoga poses.
I did the pencil.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm just era, so I'm not the teacher.
Right.
I don't get to do this all the time. But after they were done with snack, there's a little bit of lag between who's still eating and whatnot. So I had a few minutes, and I got out Tinker Toys, those sticks.
Oh, yeah.
And I used those instead of the pencils. And they had so much fun after they figured out the initial.
Right.
It's tricky to get them just to use their fingers, because they're trying to hold it like this. And I was like, no, that's not how we do it. You gotta go like this. And, they had so much fun with that. And then I was trying to get them to, we tried the full circle thing, but I knew that wasn't going to be very easy to do. But they wanted to keep on trying. And then the next day they're like, well, can we do that again? Like they keep asking to do it now. So if the time permits, and then I get to do that, which is fun for me.
Absolutely. In the moment, learning, what kinds of things are they learning when they're doing that pencil, holding the pencil together, or the
Hand-eye
stick?
coordination, cooperation with the other person, awareness, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things.
Persistence, problem solving.
Sure.
Again, confidence, all kinds of things, just with that Sticking a pencil between two children. Yeah. And aren't those things that we want to teach them
Oh,
anyway?
and then one of the interesting things with that too, I was like, can you make shapes with that? And I was like, can you make a circle? You know, having them move their hand like this with their friend. Well, they started circle, so they're taking their circles and they're walking like you know.
It's still a circle.
It's still a circle. It wasn't the circle I wasn't doing, but they. So I thought that was neat, but
absolutely
they figured it out in a different way that I wasn't even thinking.
That's awesome.
I think that activity builds empathy also, because you're paying attention to the other person's, it's just not all about you. You have to work together and read each other's cues, and so I think it's way beyond just eye-hand coordination. So it's a excellent activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, to add to that, I pick their partner. I pick partners for them, because otherwise, they're going to go over their best friend, and I kind of pick the higher end kids to the lower end kids, and so that they would have a different experience than who they typically play with. And
excellent.
Good.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah, that was good. Do you guys
Really good.
Meg, you look like you were getting ready to say something.
I am so drawn a blank. When we got in the big circle, what did we do?
Oh, we kicked that balloon.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, I just couldn't think of that. Thank you.
Crazy.
Right. And that could maybe be an outside activity, and maybe not use a balloon, but use a ball, or you could use a balloon. Yeah. Beach ball would be a good idea. What could we use in the winter? She said snowballs. I don't know if you guys heard that. But yeah, again, probably a beach ball. We could use a beach ball outside. It might deflate a little bit.
We were in the gym the other day playing outside. And then I was thinking about the pencil thing, and then I remembered one time we did the big hula hoop, and you had to get your body through the hula hoop, but you had to hold hands with your friend, so you're not letting go, and you had to go all the way around the circle, holding hands, making the hula hoop go through your body.
Oh, that's a neat idea. That sounds like a great, and truthfully, that sounds like a great mindfulness activity.
You did have to work, you have to work together with the person next to you to get that hula hoop to move.
Yeah. I'm trying to find my mindfulness handouts.
I like the comment, crossing the midline is candy for the brain.
Yeah, you're right. So like those yoga activities, and they have lots of yoga YouTube videos that you can do in your classrooms for kids. So all of those kinds of things would be evidence, a video, anytime you're doing yoga, that 4 square breathing. Do you guys remember about that? What that is?
Yeah.
You breathe in 4 through your nose. Hold it for 4. Blow out through your mouth for 4. And then hold that for 4. My daughter has told me for years to do this, but I am so used to trying to hold in my stomach, I couldn't breathe that way until after this class when I learned to hold it for 4. I could never breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. I would hyperventilate.
Oh, wow.
But now I can do it. Woo!
You practiced.
Yes, I practiced.
Well, since that class too, like me personally, I've been thinking more about my breathing and when I'm feeling stressed.
Absolutely.
So it's helped me on a personal level.
Yeah.
And I wrote down the science of being present. Megan must have mentioned that being a book. So mindful, like F-U-L-L, or mindful, F-U-L. Mindful, F-U-L. I don't know. So this would probably be a really good book.
Right.
Yeah.
It probably would be.
Yeah, Megan and Ryan, they did a great job.
It did.
One thing I didn't like was they went through their slides so fast. I got frustrated and I couldn't get fast enough to make the notes to write my paper. I had a hard time with that.
Oh,
But I did go back to the YouTube. Sorry.
that's okay.
To the YouTube stuff, and I went over that, like that Happify, is that it? That thing they first showed?
Oh, the Happify.
Happify, yeah. The mindfulness video, and kind of looked up some stuff there.
And what was that? H-A-P, what? Happify?
I think it's Happify, I think.
Happify? Like it's a YouTube video?
Well, the video that they showed us to begin with about what mindfulness was, and it had that mouse. It was like an animated.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Mouse
Okay.
and the
I do recall it. Yeah.
I think it was Happify.
But then I was looking, and they have a lot of other things on there besides that. So I was.
What is it again, so I can write it down?
Happify. Happify.
Okay.
It's the channel.
Is it a website or is it on YouTube?
Channel on you. It's a channel on YouTube.
It's a channel on YouTube, she
okay.
said. I haven't gone there.
Very good.
Well, that's where they got the video
Okay.
that they showed at the beginning about what mindfulness was.
I liked how they said we're supposed to be mindful with everything, even chewing. If we chew our food and we're mindful of our food, you know, how many of us, you have 10 minutes to eat, so you chow your food down while you're checking messages and being mindful. I've been trying to do that more lately too, just really thinking about being mindful.
20 times, they said. Chew it 20 times.
Yep. And I've always told one of my friends, because he takes 2 gulps and then it swallows 2 gulps and a swallow. I'm like, you have to chew. I told him 21 times. This has been for years. So he still remembers he's supposed to chew his food around me 21 times.
And here I wrote the 4 B's, the core 4: brain, breath, body, balance.
Ooh.
That was good. Core 4, yeah.
The core 4. Did you guys hear that?
That was kind of after she talked about crossing the midline, how great crossing the midline. And our brain teaches, we roll the dice, and 4 shows up to go to roll 4, and there's 5 or 6 activities to do, and it involves every single thing.
You say that again, brain?
Brain, breath,
yep, body, and balance. The core 4.
brain, breath, body. What was the last one?
Balance.
Balance. Thank you.
And by balance, I wrote tree pose. So we need to work on that.
For kids. But you know, take out of that, the little boy Liam saying, well, let's just do 4, 7, 8. And that was like, oh my gosh, you could really do that? So I practiced 4, 7, 8. That was not easy. Holding the breath for 8 counts.
Oh,
or exhaling 8. Ugh.
That would be.
It takes concentration. It was all really good.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. All right, guys. You did fabulous. So you've got some skills, you've got some tools, and I'm excited for you to start using them in your classrooms or your centers that you work at. Okay, we are going to play a little, I don't want it full screen. There. Why does it do that? Okay. Oh, wow. I am going to do a screen share right now so you guys can see my screen. And we're going to do a little quiz. And we're doing the quiz. I am sharing my screen already, right? You guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
forgot I did that. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play Kahoot. Have you guys ever played this before?
Yes.
Okay. So you are going to get a code. I want you to divide up into, if you're solo, obviously, just make up a name for yourself. We don't have to know who you are. Let's go. Most of you are solo though, aren't you? We'll do it this way. Okay, so here's what you do. It's kind of loud. Okay, go to Kahoot it. And then when it asks you for a game pin, I want you guys to type in this game pin. You can make a nickname up for yourself if you want.
Tell me how you spell Kahoot it. Kahoot. Is it Kahoot?
Yes. Can you see my screen, Meg?
All I see is you.
Really?
Yeah, me too.
Same here.
That's not how it's supposed to be. Okay. Because that's... No, that's not enough.
You're already in it, aren't you?
It's the right one, isn't it? I don't think so. Okay. Well, this just says Kahoot.
There you go. We got it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We're coming.
Gosh, this whole time. So this whole time, have you just been seeing me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I've been switching it back and forth so you can see other people. That's funny.
You can see all the attendees in a little square, but you're in the big square. And then
Yeah.
when
Okay.
you're two friends, we see them.
Got it. Got it.
Just type in Kahoot.
Game pin right there. Do the pin. Oh,
All right. We've got one player already.
We're getting there.
So much.
oh, okay. Thank
Joining that with game pin 701. Oh, excellent. Okay. Okay. Now then put in my nickname. Okay. Oh, this is fun.
We've got 2 players. 3 players.
Everything else. Oh my God. That's right. Check.
Five players. And Lisa and Peggy, are you 2 playing as a team?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then I think we're ready. Is everybody in? Denise, are you in?
I think so.
All right, perfect. We're going to start. Those of you who are watching the recorded Zoom, obviously you won't get to play, but you can write your answers on the side and then just see how close you got at the end. All right, there are 10 questions, 2 questions per session. You get points if you get it right, but once you click, you can't change your mind. So you get points if you get it right, and you get points how fast you get it right. So we're getting ready to start.
Yes. Okay.
What does flip stand for in Flip It?
This one. This one.
Oh crap, you're not on. You can't do it.
10 seconds left.
Get it? Okay.
Hurry, guys, hurry. Woo! You got it. All 5 of you got it. It's for feelings, limit, inquiries, and prompts. Nice work. Ooh. Next leads us with 823 points. You guys are doing fabulous. Are you ready for the next one?
Yep.
All right. According to the trainer at Centering on Centers, prerequisites for Flip It success include it's okay. Prerequisites include we need to establish those relationships, develop empathy, and have an understanding of ick. The rest of them would be helpful, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not what the trainer said that is a definite prerequisite. PBIS training is always good if you guys have that. Solid training in child development, you're going to learn about ages and stages and what comes next. Psychology degree, you're going to know a whole lot about children. All helpful.
Hello?
You still there?
Yeah, I lost connection for a bit.
Oh, who is that?
Denise,
Okay. Well, you're back.
I'm back, but I don't know how to get back to where you're at. So,
Oh. Do we want to start over?
Ask her what question.
What was the question?
The question was, according to the, and it's, can you get back into the game, Denise?
I don't know. I have the scoreboard is what I show.
I didn't get any points. Oh,
you haven't gotten any points yet.
Yeah, that was weird because I didn't see.
Okay, I have, wait, just a minute. I'm on question 2.
Yep. Oh, why does it say no points available? Huh. Sometimes, yeah, that was weird.
There. It's going crazy. It's like going.
I'm going backwards. I went backwards just so you could get back in, so you could make sure you. Oh, now it's going by itself. Whoa.
Okay, it's going all the way back. Yeah.
We start over.
Should we start over?
Yes.
Okay, let's.
Everyone's doing it, or is
We'll
just
start
mine?
over, guys. I want to make sure. I don't know why it didn't give points that time either. That was weird.
Yeah, Meg and I were talking about this. We just had
Let's just do. Okay, we'll let it completely load. Okay.
So we need to exit out of this one.
Yeah, exit out of what you just did. And
It'll come around eventually.
I'm gonna do. I'll click on the classic again. Maybe I'll just go team mode. See if that makes it better.
Mine keeps saying, please wait. Does everybody else's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now it's connecting.
Okay, there's a new game pin.
So here's it. So go back to Kahoot. It's a new game pin.
Oh, start all over, huh?
Yep.
Do I push start then?
Start, like, exit out of your old Kahoot game.
I think we were, because I think it went into a new one.
Yeah, so then you have to go back into Kahoot, and then there's a new game pin.
Oh, there's your game pin. Okay. Yeah. Should you be on there or not? Oh, yeah, that's you? Okay, okay.
It says to add.
Just pretend. Just put A, B, C, and D or something like that. It's fine.
Yeah.
Are you still on there, or is it just putting you down?
Every experience probably with Kahoot is different, right?
It sure
geez,
seems
yeah,
like
check
it. Okay. All right. We have 5 teams. Are you guys in?
It says we're checking our nickname. I don't know.
Yeah, it said, so I just,
Future. There's a thing up there.
So I see a team called ABC, one called Baker,
Okay, yeah, but then I.
one called Megan, one called
Okay.
Snow, one called Players.
Okay.
I
and
think
then
you're
when-
in.
I'm
Yeah,
ready
you're
to
in.
join.
And then if he does it, just click on one of
Okay.
those. It doesn't matter.
all right.
So I think I'm ready to start, right?
Okay, yeah.
Y'all should get this one right.
How do you know when you're in? There you go. Okay, you got it. You got it.
That's
It's just a game.
It's just a game.
Sometimes you
Absolutely.
win, sometimes you don't.
Absolutely.
Like to tell the kids, sometimes you'll lose.
Yeah.
Our computer is still checking our nickname. It's not.
Oh.
You gotta add a
Like,
player.
And it's okay. It's just
Add a
What
nickname.
if you click out of that?
Like just click to there.
socializing.
Like we're frozen or something.
Really?
We're gonna try it again.
Okay.
it's just not easy, is it?
I know sometimes that technology is
She got out.
I need the number.
so frustrating.
Can we get the game pin number? Sorry.
Or this time.
I will go back.
There
Okay.
it is.
Game pin is 18. Whoops. I don't know why it does that.
Did I get it?
She got it, I think.
Did you get it?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
So do we do it again?
Looks like it.
Okay. Here.
Is everybody in then?
It says already taken.
Yes.
Nickname's already taken.
Just play two.
Oh.
Players two.
We'll just do another one.
There you go.
Here we go.
Made it easy.
Did you guys get in?
No,
Oh,
it's not like
Not
it
yet?
is.
I'm gonna let Lisa do it. It's not working for me. It wants us to enter our player nicknames below. There's 3 boxes.
Just put like 1, 2, and 3, or A, B, and C.
Okay.
Do 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Incorrect.
It is not letting us.
Oh, let us do it.
So,
We'll just
Bob,
write down-
Jack, and Fran.
Your team is in 6th place. Tied with players, but we're supposed to be players.
Are you in?
No. No.
It doesn't like us.
Huh.
I know we were fine before, and then it just,
What's that?
when we X'd out, we were doing great before, and then when we had to X out, that's when we had problems.
Well, do you want to just watch, or do you want us to start over?
We can just watch. That's
We'll
fine.
watch. Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. You guys want to write your answers
We'll write
down?
it.
Yeah.
We'll write it.
That works.
Yeah, 'cause it's still messed up.
All right. According to the trainer at Centering on Centers, prerequisites for Flip It success include.
Yeah.
I saw it. Woo!
I got it.
Yep, you did. Sweet.
Yeah, you did. That you did.
And I saw Lisa make a triangle with her fingers, so she would have got like 1,000.
That's awesome.
According to Karen Williams, children cannot learn or manage their behavior until they are what? Yes, until they are calm. That's one of our main, that's what we need to do as adults is teach children how to be calm. Wow.
Faster connection.
Karen Williams in the early years, Practical Science, said that the #1 skill to teach children is
Oops, shoot, how about it?
Where is it? This one?
wow, yes, how to be calm. Is that what you guys had too?
Yes.
Awesome. What are ACEs? Sweet. You guys are so smart. Yes. Although the green square could have been right, but not in this sense. All right. Baker, Megan, Snow, ABC. To help children that have been affected by trauma or toxic stress, we need to build their That was tougher. We need to build their protective factors that promote resilience. We do want to do all those other things too, but the main thing is to build their protective factors. Question 7, during our play experience, we learned that play should be all of the above. It should be unstructured, open-ended, child-directed, and teacher-supported. All of the above. Objectives for the Iowa AEYC play experience included Tell me with your fingers.
Oh, uh-oh. Let me square. Oh, I just went to because I thought that one wrong.
Again, all of the above. They wanted us to learn about conservational ethics. They wanted us to experience open-ended materials. They wanted us to develop an understanding and explore ideas about play. You read it as what?
Controversial.
Oh,
Yeah.
controversial.
And the last one I got wrong because I had teacher directed. I just thought teacher directed, and I did see teacher supported.
Right.
So yeah, I know it's
Gotcha.
interesting. You try to go too fast.
I know, yeah. All right. Question 9, in mindfulness for yoga, or mindfulness yoga for children, we learned about 4 square breath, which is
Not the answers.
good job. I had fun making up the other answers with this one. All right. Oh, it's close, guys. It is close. ABC is on fire with the highest answer streak of 7 in a row. Last question. The benefits of mindfulness include Better concentration and focus. Yes. And congratulations, Baker. She got 10 out of 10 correct. AB follows with 9,913 points, followed by Megan with 7,672 points. Good job.
My internet's coming out. It does. Sometimes it does.
All right, we're going to go back to, whoa. Now it's a full screen. So it's kind of like, now what? Now what? How will knowing what you guys know now, after being through Centering on Centers, can you guys see like my full screen now? Okay. How is it going to tie in with what you already do? So as you start to think about that, just kind of a thinking thing, I want you to look at this real life scenario. I belong to this, I get daily messages on NAEYC. It's a discussion forum, and it's called Hello, I think. Anyway, here was the question that popped up on February 6th, and I just want your guys' thoughts now since you know what you know. I work in a mixed-age infant room. Here's the question. I work in a mixed-age infant and toddler room. Recently, a 3-month-old started at the center. We're having a hard time putting her down. She cries if we put her down. We can't even lay her in her crib without her waking up and crying uncontrollably. We definitely have to let her cry while we tend to the other children. Mostly this is during transition time. Her excessive crying sometimes upsets the other babies, and they begin to cry too. I'm not sure if she's held all the time at home. Any ideas on how we can break this habit? What are your thoughts?
Baby. I don't remember which one it was.
I don't remember either.
Megan, the ACEs?
Megan said,
Yeah.
was it the ACEs one? She was wondering which video when we were at our training or at Centering on Centers, which one showed the person holding the baby?
Oh, that's right. The doctor.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that yoga? Was that yoga? Or no?
Yeah.
And it was like, you can wiggle. No,
Yeah.
or maybe that was in the video.
I can't remember. You remember holding the baby?
Yes.
Right.
On their bottom.
Flipping him over? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And wiggling.
Bouncing the bottom.
Yeah. I forgot. So you would use that strategy.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. I forgot about that. See
I
why
did too.
discussion is important? What are your other ideas? So first of all, let's think about what does this child need right now?
Well, I think, oh my land, to be in this case scenario is pretty mind blowing. That's why I have 4 and 5-year-olds.
Exactly.
And they're challenging enough. But this crying 3-month-old, and so the parents, maybe they truly believe you can never hold enough. It's okay to continually hold a crying infant. And then what would this child maybe have? Colic, right? So then would a center take a child with colic? I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to kind of work this all in. And then this child is crying, and like crazy. And then all the other kids are crying. And so this is step by step by step. It's kind of like you need professional intervention. I don't know. You can't. One staff person can't hold the baby all the time, right? So I'm gathering that from the verbiage.
You could
I don't know if that's appropriate for where the baby.
Wear the baby.
Wear the baby. Put the baby on you, like.
Wear the baby.
Baby.
Oh, that's cool.
What are some of your other ideas? Think about this child in the perspective of our
Is that a
ACEs,
lot?
the ACEs presentation. The 3-month-old,
adverse child
She's
and the
crying, or he. I guess this is.
I'd try to have a conversation with the family, first of all, to see, you know, is the child colically at home? You know, does the child act that way at home? Just try to get some background first.
Mm-hmm.
And how do they handle it?
Yeah, how do they handle it? What do they do?
Mm-hmm.
What if they said, well, we just put her in her crib and let her cry? What if they said that? What would your response be?
I'd probably check with some of my professionals to see what we could do and how to help the family with some strategies, and also make sure that there isn't a medical issue that's causing the problem.
Oh, good idea.
Reflux or
ear infections.
Mm-hmm. Could be a medical problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Denise, you're back.
I'm back.
You must be having connection problems too, huh?
Yes, that's what, 3 times now.
That's not fun. I live in a small town where we lose connection all the time. So I understand. Do you guys want to see what some of the replies were to this?
Yeah.
I thought I had it saved, but I must have got emails, I guess.
So you get to respond to these people online?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's neat. Wow, open discussion forum. That's awesome.
Okay, so here's some of the responses. It certainly can be challenging, and I love this one. When you have a room full of children that need attention, but a baby of 3 months developmentally needs to be held and responded to. This isn't a situation of needing to break a child of crying to be held. The baby is doing the job. Infants, especially young ones like this, start the foundations of all future relationships by learning that their needs, including attention, love, and physical reassurance and soothing, will be met and their cries responded to. You mentioned the infant recently started in the room. The baby has not yet learned that you are safe, loving, trustworthy caregivers. These are the moments to take cues from the baby. They're not built to adjust to our schedules and needs. We need to adapt to theirs. Best of luck. I thought that was a great response. I'll read a couple more. Can you guys see that on your own? I'll let you guys read that. So he mentioned carrying around in a sling, which I thought was pretty cool that you mentioned that too. But some good answers. And people can have all kinds of questions with this forum. But I thought that was kind of.
Can anybody get on that? That'd be good. Yep. And what is this called then?
It's called hello, naeyc.org.
Okay.
I'll bring you back to the head page. Looks like that. Okay. Okay, the next, our time is flying here. What I wanted to do next was just kind of do a putting it into practice. But I think how I'm going to do this is I'm going to do that last, because before we do that, I want you guys to do this. I want you to, and I forgot to send that today too. Take care of yourself first. Let me go to present mode so you can see it big. To help children to become more resilient, you need to spend a lot of time filling their cups, correct? Don't you feel like you're always giving?
but you have to remember to fill your own pitcher first. You guys you've seen that where you have to put on your own oxygen mask before you take care of others. This is kind of the same concept. So this is, I attended the National Training Institute a couple of years ago, addressing challenging behavior. And one of the presenters, her name was Debbie Allen. She was from the Devereaux Foundation, and she talked about how important it is to have strong, resilient adults. And here's the protective factors she said that we need in our life. We need to have strong relationships, and that's that mutual, long-lasting, back and forth bond that we have with another person in our lives. We also need to have initiative, the ability to make positive choices and decisions and act on them. And so, we talk about our ACEs, and sometimes you kind of might feel a little hopeless. But if you realize, you know what, I do have a choice in my life, I can make decisions, I can make positive decisions, and I can move forward, it gives you hope, and it makes you more resilient. The internal beliefs, the feelings and thoughts we have about ourselves and our lives and how effective we think we are at taking action, that has a huge influence on our resiliency. One of the speakers at that same conference said one of the biggest predictors of school, I guess, hopelessness for a child is the thought that the parent has. If she feels that the child is bad because of her and it's all her fault, then she's got really low resilience, and we have to build that up because it's a predictor of school failure. Or if the parent feels that things are always going to be this way and they'll never change, that's also a predictor of a school failure for a child. Self-control, the ability to experience a range of feelings and express them using the words and actions that society considers appropriate. So, Devereaux has a adult resilience. It's called the DARS. It's the Devereaux Adult Resilience Survey. And I think I sent you guys a link. I forgot to do it this morning. I don't think I did I? I don't think I did. But we can just go over it. I mean, you can take this on your own. I'll send it again after today. But this is something I want you guys to do for yourself. And if you have any not yets, if you can move towards at least a sometimes, it's going to boost your resiliency for yourself. And if you can get a few in the yes column, it's going to help you become more resilient. So you can ward off some of the negative effects on those ACEs. So we're going to back up, and we're going to do this. So using the Iowa Early Learning Standards, using the GOLD, okay, first of all, Iowa Early Learning Standards, these are what children are supposed to be able to do by the time they end their 5th year of life. So it's birth through age 5. It's not by the time they get to kindergarten, but it's by the time they end their 5th year of life. That's the Iowa Early Learning Standards. The objectives for learning and development, that's what we call GOLD. How many of you guys do GOLD? Okay. A lot of you, are familiar with that. So I just kind of thought, let's see how all of what we know now fits in with the Iowa Early Learning Standards, how it fits in with GOLD, how it fits in with the Quality Preschool Program Standards, because we also have in the Standard 1 relationships. We have curriculum, we have teaching, those are different standards. And then also, how does it fit into PBIS? So if you guys can find this matrix, I did send that today.
Yeah, I did get it downloaded.
Okay, great.
I don't know why it's-
Could be like a front and a back. Maybe. Oh,
Well, mine just went.
it
was so big.
yours is the wrong. What I just handed out is wrong. That's the right one.
Tricks for
Yeah.
resiliency into the daily routine.
Did I send you guys a resilient? I hopefully sent you the resiliency one. I tweaked another one. Okay. So this is what I thought we could do maybe together as a group. When you look at your schedule along the left-hand side, when it comes to building nurturing relationships, how could you build nurturing relationships at arrival and departure time? What could you do to build relationships? I'll let you have that one.
Greeting them with a friendly hello.
Yeah, greeting them with a friendly hello. Absolutely. Want me to go make a coffee real quick?
If you want.
Okay. Hey guys, we're going to take a 2-minute break. I'm going to make a copy here for Megan. Yeah. Hi. You guys are going to talk amongst yourself and think of some things that you can put in here for just a second.
Well, for those of you who are paras, don't you feel that some of this is like out of your control? Because you're not the direct teacher in the classroom.
Some of it is more of the teacher side, but a lot of what we do, we work together, so it relates to.
Together. We had a great conversation.
Good job. Awesome. There you
Thank
go.
you.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I printed the wrong matrix to talk about here. So have a copy for Megan. All right. So what did you guys come up with? How could you build relationships? What you know about building relationships? What can you do at arrival or greeting time to work on building those relationships?
Friendly smile.
Yeah.
Using their names. Yes, using their names.
Why is that important?
Gives them their identity.
Yeah. When people use your name, I don't know. Me personally, I just develop a better connection. It's almost like, oh, wow, you thought I was important enough to remember my name? That's pretty awesome. Yeah. What else could you do? Mm-hmm.
I remember from the ooey gooey lady. I'm so I'm so glad you're here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we need to make sure those children feel wanted and accepted and loved. So yeah, you're right.
A touch or a hug.
Yes. Isn't it that, I don't remember how many hugs a day we're supposed to have to ward off, to help build our immune system, you know? But remember that with kids. If you got a bunch of sick kids in your classrooms, hug them more. How about large group time? How can we build relationships at large group time?
Everybody have a turn to speak?
Take turns for speaking, okay.
encourage another kid to help another kid with something, or I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
stretching there, I guess.
What was the first one said?
Take turns for speaking.
Oh, okay.
But-
Answering their questions.
Yes. And I think listening, kind of all in that same, really letting every answer be okay. It's not that there's, if there's a wrong answer, you could say, well, that's an interesting way to look at it. Let's see what the author was thinking, or if you're reading a story. But you want to validate all answers, I guess.
Kids like to play hangman. We do with their names, like Luke, and then I'll make the 4 lines that are there for Luke, and they have to guess, the letters, and they all know it's somebody in the class's name. So when they say X, I'm like, no, that was a good guess though. That's a letter of the alphabet.
Yep, there you go.
They also like it because it's their name. They're really excited when it's actually their name on the board too.
So you're attaching meaning to learning, putting them into it. Yeah, great idea. How about during playtime? How can you build nurturing relationships during play?
This is first.
Positive statements.
Yeah.
Or you just see, you're a builder, you're an artist, you're taking care of our classroom.
We talked about the power of conversation. Could this be a time when you talk to the children in your classroom? Just have those conversations. One of the teachers I consult with, she does a lot of interventions with her students, and she said, she's starting to feel really frustrated because all doing free choice, the teacher is busy doing intervention. She said, I can't even play with the kids anymore. I can't even have conversations. So we had to have a discussion on, what are some other ways she could do intervention or other times so she could still have those conversations with kids, because that's important too. Wouldn't it be cool if we just let kids play, and if that could be an intervention in itself? Like the play people and all of that school ready information. It's like, here's my intervention. Play. Wouldn't it be great?
Yeah. Right.
Could it work?
Yeah, probably really great, actually.
Probably could if we could just let kids play out.
Dean did it.
Let's think of cleanup time. How can we build nurturing relationships?
Work on that end by the wall.
Encourage everybody to the teacher I work with, she reminds me that we're all family here and we're playing and we're all gonna pick up.
So help pick up. One teacher that I work with, and it's cleanup time. How you talked about it's important to say the children's names. So she would say, Megan's cleaning up, Megan's cleaning up, hi ho, way to go, Megan's cleaning up, Denise is cleaning up, Denise is cleaning up, hi ho, way to go, Denise is cleaning up. And so then, Miss Rachel, I'm cleaning up. Oh, good. And that was, I don't know, I think that's pretty cool too. She just has such a positive atmosphere in her class. You can build relationships all through your day. So this matrix, that's what this is for. It's just thinking of ways to build relationships throughout your day. Small group time, outside time, snack time, rest time. What do you do at rest time to build relationships?
Yeah. Just that little.
Rub their backs.
Yeah. Could rub their backs. There was an article I read a couple years ago. It was a Head Start classroom, and she used rest time. She would pick one to three children a day, and she would they knew it was their day, and it was called pillow talk. It's like, oh wow, it's my pillow talk day. I can't hardly wait to take a rest today because I know teacher's going to talk to me. So that was kind of a neat idea, I thought. Let's go to those supportive environments. One way to build resiliency is really to set up your environment so it's warm, inviting. Children know that they're welcome there. And I put in kind of right here where it says some ideas. You can do direct teaching in a supportive environment of those social emotional skills. So you could do some direct teaching of calming. You can do direct teaching of taking turns, sharing. This is what it looks like to be a helpful person when it's cleanup time. This is what it looks like to be a person who is kind during snack time. What could we do to build a support? And this is when you can use visuals and stuff too, visual supports. Those are all supportive things. I was going to have you guys pull out your like early learning standards and all that kind of stuff too, but we are running out of time. So I think the rest of this time, we're just going to kind of go through this matrix. If you have some things you want to bring up in the early learning standards, or the, I want you to know that they're tools for you guys to look at. Hardly ever do we remember that they're even there because we're so focused on we got to get gold done.
So for the supportive environments, you know, they each have their own cubby or locker with their name and picture posted, or their family picture in the kitchen area or house area.
Yeah,
we've broken down as far as you know, not really having rules posted, but that is it kind or isn't it kind, you know, type thing. I can't remember what the one little poster says. It's something about stop.
Is it soda?
Is it helpful or is it hurtful? Kind of thing.
Is it kind? Is it helpful? Is it hurtful?
Just a real simple visual.
Oh no, it's not my personal thing, but I copied, it was colored, so that's why I went over it with a marker, but I was thinking about that.
I'm going to share this. I'm going to try to go to big screen. Oh, it's not going to big screen. Really? Isn't that weird? You want it to do something and you do it. Okay, we're going to try again. Ah, you went away. I don't think you guys can see this. Can you see that okay? Yeah. Pretty tiny. Let me stop. Oh. Nope, that's not going to work.
Visual with
Okay.
Can you see this?
amazing the teacher, listening and
Can you guys see me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I super big?
Yeah.
No,
Okay. Well, here's what Megan is sharing. Megan, can you talk about this a little bit?
This is good.
Well, I got this from the TK teacher, and I'm in the preschool, but I see her use this with her class, and it's things that are good for friends to do and things that are not safe for friends to do. And this just goes through, a gentle touch is a good thing to do, but biting is not a good thing to do. She had a couple other things here, but the thing that I really liked, and she used this with that girl the other day that has problems. And this, she drew what the problem was here. And so the way that she could go either the positive way and show the steps of how that behavior could turn into positive, or and then she drew the steps of how this behavior could be a negative, and which one was she going to choose.
Wow.
I want that.
It'd be really cool to embed that like in with Flip It too. I mean, those could be some real positive. Wow. That's really cool. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I could see using that as a visual for the parent.
Can we get a copy of those two things?
Can they get copies?
Okay. You can get copies of that. I don't
I will,
have the original.
What I'll do is I'll scan this to myself and then I'll send them to you guys.
That'd be
okay.
awesome. That'd be cool.
Wow, she just brought all kinds of stuff. What else do you have?
Oh my God.
Just all the stuff Megan has here today. It's pretty awesome.
And this is off of that movie.
What zone? Yeah.
What zone are you in?
It's characters all from that movie that tells the different emotions.
Do you guys know? I'm not a cartoon person anymore. Not to
I can't remember the name of it now.
It's not emojis. There's not a movie.
No, it is. It's not the emoji movie. Like
no, I know it's
Inside Out.
Yeah. That's it. I was gonna go look for it. We have it.
Okay.
Wow.
So when kids come to school, they can just kind of let teachers know. That could be part of your
evidence.
Yeah, that could be.
Like they have an emotion check-in because that's one of the first things they do.
That's cool. I like that.
This is another feeling chart. Now, the original paper, these are like, it's all green and then all blue and the colors of the emojis too.
Mm-hmm. This is like a 5-point scale for how I feel today when it comes to anger and emotions.
And this one is also.
Where'd you get that Inside Out?
It's the TK teacher at my school.
Did she make it?
I don't know if she made it or if she found it somewhere, but she's really
That's pretty cool.
into this stuff. So she was a good lady to come to talk to because it was making me think of this,
Yeah.
This is another one that she uses. It's a colored. These are all colored, so that's why I colored them in.
Oh, okay. It's taking charge of my feelings and behaviors.
That one might be a little bit more so than, for older kids.
Right. But it does, what will make me feel better or safer? Drawing a picture, squeeze my hands, breathe in and out slowly, stretch my body. That's kind of cool too. It might be a little much for a preschool age, but you could use the information and adapt it. When I'm upset, I can read, I can listen to music, I can rest on a pillow, I can do a puzzle, I can draw a picture. Oh, this one says all rights reserved. But those are things that you guys could make yourselves too, just with little stick figures. Get back to the safe zone.
And this whole thing is red and then it's green in the middle.
Okay.
I'm not for sure what the dinosaurs have to do with it.
Maybe the kids, maybe she's using what the child's interested in.
I just typed in when I'm upset on Pinterest and that came up.
This came up, the
Yep.
filefolderheaven.com.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. If it's on Pinterest, then it must be able to be reproduced. Cool. Thank you for sharing all those.
That this article that you're having us read, that's what made me think of all this stuff, and how this also reminded me of. Hello.
Hi.
Reminded me of things that we look for when we do goal.
Okay.
That's what it kind of reminded me of. Like the stuff that they need to learn to cope is all stuff that we look for when we're doing goals.
Absolutely.
Finding things for goals.
So by filling out this matrix, could this help you find information for goal 2?
Yeah.
Plugging
different ways.
Yeah,
that
plugging
you
things.
don't normally look for during the day. I find myself having a hard time coming up with different scenarios to write down for like seeing the kids do different things, like in a different, like being at the gym or being at lunch. And think outside the box of just inside the classroom.
Because we're teaching them all day long, right? Thank you for sharing all those.
I was just trying to think in goal how self-sufficiency and you know, being self-regulated. I'm trying to think of the goal objective. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we tend not to score a lot of, you know, I mean, if I looked at my grid right now, and for one child, if there were 3 goal objectives for, you know, resiliency, self-sufficiency, self-reliance, self-regulation, regulates own emotions and behaviors, manages feelings, follows limits and expectations, takes care of own needs appropriately. So we could score those, a lot of those, every single day, but do we? We don't. But right now, I mean, yesterday there was a whole lot going on that I could have scored. And you want it to be, you want to see some growth. Well, yesterday they would have been in the low blue. It's the green. It's not the green. I mean, that's how.
Right.
And then it's like, then I keep thinking here now about the parents. So you take that on yourself, and you just have to be good to yourself. You're doing all you can. You can do better. Yes, I know that we can do better, and my other adult in the room can do better.
We just want to make sure that we're building relationships, we're supporting children by teaching them exactly what we want them to do. And through that teaching, we want to use support with visuals. And these visuals are great. Super great.
I guess they do tie in.
I think with the one that was highlighted in red and green, I feel like that I wouldn't share the negative, like friends don't bite and stuff like that. I think I would just concentrate on the positive ones. And then when you see that happening in the classroom, you just build upon that as far as you're being a good friend. I think sometimes when we offer the negative choice, we're implanting ideas, and to keep a positive classroom, just to have the positive. This is what a friend looks like.
This is what it looks like when you don't tell the teacher no.
But we have to keep everything in a positive frame. So how could we say that in a positive way?
I know this one kid, I mean, honestly, he's just got a lot of issues, and he's oppositional.
We say, and I don't know if this is positive enough.
Or our fault, because we don't have a good enough relationship.
Yeah.
Sit with me and let's talk. No, Angela would say no is not an option.
I never say no to teachers.
Say that again.
I never say no to teachers.
You're self-talking. You would tell the kid, I never say no to when I'm learning, I never say no. I'm respectful.
I just think simplify it as much as you can, and with an empathetic tone. I never say no to teachers.
I see. So you're saying that to the child. Mm-hmm.
Right.
How could we frame that so we're telling children what to do?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want them to say?
Mm-hmm.
And if a child doesn't want to do it, how could they say it in a nice way?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times we set kids up for failure. Do you want to clean up? No, I don't want to clean up.
No, it's not a question.
Right. So we just say, hey, it's time to clean up. What would you like to do first? What would you like to pick up?
Mm-hmm. So kind of ignore that no. It's time to go to large group. And you have two choices, your blue chair or your large group meeting spot. And then they're still defiant. I mean, you know what I mean? It's really
right.
It's very challenging because they're not going to cooperate. And you think you have a good relationship with them. And we do
think about your flip it.
Yeah, flip it. Okay. So he's saying no.
It's like, oh, you must feel. What would a child maybe be feeling during that?
But
you're feeling frustrated.
You're feeling like you don't want to go to a large group.
Mm-hmm.
You want to.
What are the limits?
Well, right now the schedule says it's large group time.
And let's go to the I want to say interrogation. The I. The inquisitions. What is the I, guys? Inquiries. Thank you.
Okay, what are you feeling right now? What's going on?
What are
the solutions?
What was that?
We think about the solutions is the inquire. What are some other things we could do?
Right.
Do you need hand putty?
You need to walk by yourself, or would you like to hang on to my hand to go to large group? Or
well, and this kid will still he'll defy everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we got to move on. We got 19 other kids.
Right.
And then you got maybe another kid who's not complying to go to large group. And you got two adults in the room. Yay, two adults in the room. We're both doing our best, and we both know all this stuff. And then we're just working really hard.
That's when you call Calgon, take me away.
And you want to hold them accountable, but you don't really have time to follow through. So then obviously one of us is going to take charge of the other 19 kids, and then the other person's just going to do their best.
But you have to remember there's a reason and a purpose for every behavior.
Right.
And there's a reason and a purpose for why this child might be doing that. And if we don't identify and define and figure out what that purpose is, we're just going to keep feeling frustrated every day ourselves.
And the parents are just as frustrated as we are. And there's communication with the family, which is thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
But it now I guess you gotta focus on maybe one thing. Let's work on one thing. So mom, dad, when your child says no at home, what do you do? This is what we're struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about relationship, the feeling, what is behind it. So, and these parents, they know they can do it, but they're
right.
They're just as frustrated as we are.
You're describing probably a child in all of our classrooms. And the one thing I was thinking of is that I forgot the one thing I was thinking of. It's gone already. But, how we're offering choices, and she always comes up with a third choice. So then we go with that. So maybe involving him in the choice. But yeah, it's like I got it back. So if our children develop 9 to 18 months later than in third world countries or underdeveloped countries, is he or she in her terrible twos? Is she building her autonomy by saying no? So, yeah, and getting to the source. Why are they saying no? Why are they refusing not to come to large group? It's about control.
Mm-hmm.
And their lack of control in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right.
So just allowing them opportunities to have some of that control is a great idea.
Okay, so let's say this little guy, he's not listening. He doesn't want to follow our guidelines or parameters. He's really not listening. And you say, you know what? You just find a place where you can see and hear the teacher and participate in large group. And it might be at the south end of the room, sitting at the art table, but that's okay. And then all the other children think, oh, because he can do it. But so then you're teaching. Some kids need a little more support, and you just work on you. You follow you,
and that's
That's
where we get into the opportunities for engagement. That third column in the rubric, because if we can make what we're doing look like so much fun, and they're going to miss out if they're not there. Who wants to miss out on that?
Don't you find out whoever this lady is, this dear lady that's helping me with the autonomy and yes, he's in the terrible twos. He really is. I mean, and he has a younger sister and now a new baby on the way. And so, now I forgot what I was going to say. Autonomy. And then, what Brenda just said. And eventually, you know what? In 3 minutes, he's back in large group. Because he's decided, he's given freedom, some choice and control, right? And then all of a sudden in his little brain, he goes, well, this is cool, then I'll come back and sit at my spot in large group. And then we say, oh, thanks for joining us. So that does happen.
Right. And I think it's all about how we respond to it.
Yeah, very good.
And so then he comes back, then whether it's right then and there in the large group or after the large group, I saw you came, joined us, you made a strong choice. You were so strong, the positive reinforcement and build up that he made the choice. He was in control.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah.
Well, guys, we have 8 minutes for questions and wrap up.
Who's coming next year to Centering on Centers?
Right now, I don't know if we release that information. We have one person that we had planned on him coming this year, but we had too many people already. We're pretty sure Doug Clemens is coming next year. The rest of it, we're not sure about yet. So what are your thoughts? What are your questions, resources you need? I will scan the stuff that Megan brought today and get that to you guys.
I also think I need the putting it into practice matrix. I didn't receive that one.
Okay.
I just appreciate having this opportunity so close to home and the support we get from all this information on the Centering on Centers. Every year it's a blessing. So I just appreciate it so much. And then to be able to get a licensing renewal credit in such a lovely manner, it's wonderful.
And I want your honest opinion, because this is the first time I think that we've done the Zoom for Centering on Centers. And yeah, it was a little jacked up today because of the snow and all that kind of craziness. But honestly,
I loved it. I loved it.
Do you feel like you were involved enough?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too.
Me too.
I'm so glad you guys are here, because it would be really hard for me to do just the recording one all by myself. So thank you for being a part of this today.
It was a good session, I thought, today.
Awesome. I will also get you the resiliency, the Devereaux adult resiliency chart too.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Make sure you guys have a copy of that.
Now,
I am.
Would anybody give that to a parent?
What do you guys think? Would you give this? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you
Yeah, if you
Give
know,
that to a
obviously
parent.
we have relationships. We do our best to have relationships with our millennials and who are in and out and busy. But I keep going back to the parent taking on the devastation because the child is unruly, and people say there's red flags here. So we have to help the parent with parenting skills and get some resilience built up.
How would you use it with a parent if you were going to do it?
What does it say?
I have good for relationships. I have good friends who support me. I have a mentor. I provide support to others. Empathetic. I have close friends. Internal belief.
How are you doing? How are you doing? Here, Mom. I have this really good matrix about resiliency, and I know that parenting can be very challenging. So here's something that I did, and maybe it would help you because we're here. We are here to help you. We're a community. We're a family. We want you to be successful. We want your child to be successful. And don't take this on yourself. Yeah.
I think I would be careful.
Yeah.
Maybe have it out there, but not really talk.
Not talk to it.
I don't know. It's a thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're wanting to work on your own resiliency, maybe have just like it on a.
Because I would take offense if you told me that.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, what's wrong with me?
Exactly.
But just leave it out there, maybe with a little note saying this is for you.
Just
FYI.
Here's some handouts that I found have been helpful to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think that it's very interesting that a lot of these questions are on our Head Start Family Strengths Assessment.
Oh, really?
Form that we do with them on our first and second home visits as family advocates. So I find that very, very interesting. And also, I love it because,
wow.
Again, you can teach resilience.
So then you know that beforehand, and then you can help the parent when they, when you're able to interact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Wow.
Other sites you guys are familiar with, the Cephal website, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Maybe not.
Turtle.
Yep. Yep. There's also, we call it the Taxi website.
I don't know all the, it's an acronym.
This one is, I love this website.
Are we supposed to look at these and write reports on them? Is that part of
these are some of the websites that you can go to. I think I have the Devereaux one pulled up. This is kind of nice. There's a little book you can get for yourself. Building Your Bounce, Simple Strategies for Resilient You.
Now, the first website you went to, did they rename this?
It's the Challenging Behavior website.
Yeah. I feel like it's it has a lot of PBIS stuff on it.
It's all about the pyramid model. It's linked to the Pyramid Consortium, the center on the Cephal website.
Yeah.
Childhood mental health. They all work together. The one thing I like about this one, and I know we have 2 minutes left, the one thing I like about that is they have, I think this is the one I wanted. Oh, I want the backpack connection. Have you guys seen the backpack connections? These are some things that you can send home to families. How to understand the meaning of your child's challenging behavior. You can download them. It's all free stuff for you.
Oh yeah.
So it's just a one-pager. Try this at home. Practice at school. I like that one a lot. And I especially like down here where it says reproduction of this document is encouraged. Final questions.
What do you mean by, and it's been a long time since I did a paper of anything about citing the website.
Oh, just say where you got it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what that meant. Sorry.
It was scaring me.
Yeah, just say if it was the Challenging Behavior website, just say I got this off the Challenging Behavior website or Taxi, however you want to say it.
Okay.
Yeah, any final homework questions? All right. Thank you guys for joining today.
Thank
you,
you.
Brenda.
Thank you. All right. If you have any questions, just send me an email. I think y'all have my phone number now too. So, all right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.